YouTube, Quinn Wade coming to y'all with some free agency analysis. We're going to talk about the extensions that was signed today, and one of the last ones is Jalen Johnson agreeing to a $150 million extension. He was a guy that we liked in summer league when we seen him playing a couple years ago, and we seen that he can be one of those point forwards type of players. And he's strong. He has a good body, and if his offense rounds out well, especially from the 3 point line in the mid range, he can be a real threat in the NBA. And it's interesting to see that they're willing to give him the full 5 year, $150 million extension, knowing that he does still have some upside and he can take away some ball handling duties because he is a really decent decision maker at that size, averaging 3.6 assists, last year, and he played 33 minutes, and he's just a great player that has a good feel for the game and a high IQ and just really knows how to play the game the right way. And I think that the Hawks seen some talent when they picked him 20th, and he ended up panning out to be one of their better players because he did average 16 points and also 8 rebounds, showing you that he can do multiple things on the court, and he still has that upside that if he could continue to play, um, he can just build more chemistry and build more camaraderie with the Atlanta Hawks, and that could lead them to something special possibly. But there's no real flaw to playing Jalen Johnson a lot of minutes, and I think that that's the fun part of having a young squad that's still trying to find out how to win together and win with each other. And this to me is the right move that you should be trying to make if you're the Atlanta Hawks. And then I would say the same thing about Alperen Sengun. He agrees to a 5 year, $185 million contract. He's a guy that people was kind of questioning. Then he came on strong, a couple years ago. Then he was showing you that he can rebound, he can shoot, he can post up, he can drive to the basket, he can knock down free throws. And that's what the modern day big is. And he was selected with the 16th overall pick in a 2021 draft. And if you can give me 21, 9, and 5 in 32 minutes, that's an all-star, caliber player if the team especially is winning. And they won 500 games with the losses being equal to the wins. And now they want to build upon that and keeping everybody happy contractual wise and keeping everybody together for the most part is something that you should be prioritizing. You should be trying to do if you have a young team. And you can also say Jalen Suggs has just been exactly what they have needed. They needed a defensive guard for the Orlando Magic, and that's why they selected him so high in that draft at number 5, because this was a guy that can make big plays and make big moments happen, but he can also stay in front of guys and make it tough. And Orlando has become one of the best defensive teams in the league, and he is part of that reason. But when he was drafted in 2021 out of Gonzaga, we knew that he was going to be up there with the Scotty Barnes, Evan Mobley, Jalen Greens, and Kate Cunningham, and that was drafts because this guy can shoot. He can get to the basket. He can score. He can play make a little bit. He can guard his position in multiple. It was really nothing that he couldn't do. It was just can his offense end up, developing better so he can be more of a threat on the court when he has great teammates around him. But we knew what he was capable of, and we knew his potential was really decent. But last season, he only averaged 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Um, he also was named to the All Defensive Second Team, which is a major accolade showing that you're one of the elite defenders in the league. And if his offense isn't going to be great, at least he's going to defend at a high level. And that's all you can really ask the guy to do because you can only expand so much energy out of you before you're going back to the bench. And I feel like it's good to have something a little different at the guard position because most guards in the league are better offensive players and really are not great at all at defense. They're usually the weakest link defensively, and you can't really say that at all about Jalen Suggs. So it does make sense to reward him with that type of contract. And then you look at Jalen Green. The Rockets agreed to a 3 year, $106 million extension. I was a little disappointed in this that they couldn't get more out of it. But Jalen Green is a highly confident guy. That's what made him special. That's what made him stand out. This guy is so quick and so fast. He can leave you in the dust if you even make one mistake. And the fact that he can shoot the three, now he's showing that he can catch and shoot, and he can still get out in transition and be a blur. This guy is just another level of an athlete, and he's still just rounding out his skills with his talent. And he's very young still, and it's just gonna be interesting to see what's his ceiling because he already averaged 22 points 2 years ago. Last year, he averaged 19 with a lot of talent on the roster. And as this team continues to grow and continues to learn how to play together, his role is just to be that go to guy on the perimeter. And he has already shown that he can be that type of player for the Houston Rockets. And you want to lock him down as long as you can because of that upside. It's hard to find a guard with freakish athleticism, and that's something you just can't teach. Is either you have it or you don't. And they already have a guy that can do these things, and now he can develop into one of the best shooting guards in the league, which he's almost close to being top five to me. Just because his body, his and his length allows him to possibly be a great defender too, but this guy is virtually already unstoppable. He just got to learn how to slow down, learn how to be smarter when he's attacking, and just continue to shoot the ball better. And then he's basically going to be one of the unguardable players in the league because of that quickness and the things that he can do. Because you have to always look at that as a weapon that he can use, and that just always puts you behind defensively if you're overthinking as a defender. But that's the point of having great teams, good teams, bad teams, and ugly teams in the NBA. And he takes advantage of all of that, when he's playing during the regular season as he should. And I like that the fact that the player he was able to negotiate a 2+1 of rookie extension on the 9-figure deal. Green will earn 33.3 million in year one of the deal, which is slightly above what would have been 31 million cap hold. And Green will earn 36 million in both 2027 and 2028. Green also has a 10% trade kicker in his extension. I thought I might want to say that for people that wanted to know. Green was the second overall pick for people that don't know in the draft in 2021, and he was drafted out of G League Ignite. And last season, like I said, he averaged 19.6 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, showing you that he can do multiple things on the court. Um, which is really good considering that he's not even 25 years old. He's not even in his mid 20s yet, and he's already showing you that he's one of the best starters, especially at the guard position, and he has huge amount of potential. Trey Murphy, the third for the Pelicans, he was able to agree to a 4-year, $112 million extension. This is something that you had to get done. He's one of their best scorers on the entire roster for the Pelicans, and he just can provide so much versatility. Um, for them. But Trey Murphy and the Pelicans agreed to this deal. The deal does contain no incentives or player options. It's just a straight forward deal that just locks him up for the long term as they're still trying to win with him and Zion. And he's one of the best assets that you can even have in general because of his size, his shooting ability, and the fact that he can handle the ball a little bit. But he was drafted with the 17th overall pick in the NBA draft out of Virginia, and he was one of the best young wings in that draft. He did shoot 38% um, and on 78 on 7 3-point attempts per game last season. And Murphy also averaged 14, 4 and 2 and 14 points, 4 rebounds and 2 assists in 29 minutes for the Pelicans. And he is expected to take a bigger role with the Pelicans, particularly given the uncertain future of Brandon Ingram, which is always something that makes sense, especially if that fit doesn't work as you think that it would. It's good to have another guy that you feel that can play better in that role, which you have to do as a GM anyway. The goal is to build the best roster that you can, and their goal is to see if they can win with the number overall pick as Zion as their best player, who already got his extension 2 years ago. And Jaden Hardy, he was a guy that people didn't know how long he would be around, but he continued to show flashes that he can be a great scorer in this league. He just don't have the minutes and the opportunity as much, but that's something that he has to continue to prove and continue to earn if he really wants to get that starting spot eventually. But him and the Mavericks was able to agree to a 3-year, $18 million extension, and Jaden Hardy deserves it. But he was the 37th overall pick, which is a second round pick in the draft, and he was in the 2022 draft out of the G League Ignite. So he followed Jalen Green, and he was the next one to come out to G League Ignite and still get drafted. But he's really showing that he can be a decent scorer because he did average 7 points, one rebound, and one assist in 13 minutes. Just imagine if that was 30 minutes or close to it, he would easily be a double digit scorer and possibly even a 20-point scorer, depending on what team and what they're trying to do. And I feel like he has been one of the Mavericks' best bright spots, obviously outside of Luca and Kyrie and now Klay Thompson, because he's a guy that can hit you with the three, put the ball on the floor and get to the basket. He can score real well in transition, and he's still working on his slow down, stop and pop mid range jump shot. And he has a lot of those skills. It's just he don't have enough time to showcase them. And it's nothing that's a big problem because you rather win a championship as fast as you can. And he's on a contender that can possibly win. But, this 3 year deal shows you that he's comfortable with his role. He's comfortable with the direction they're going in. And that's always going to be a good thing and a good way to look at it because it's hard to win sometimes in the league, and you can be miserable putting up numbers and still losing because you got to hear about what the fans think. And it's good that he gets the best of both worlds, possibly with the Mavericks in the future, and that's what you would hope. Corey Kispert and the Wizards agreed to a 4 year, $54 million extension. Not surprising. He's more of a role player, a guy that's really good at shooting the basketball. And it's not a surprise that he ended up getting prioritized to get an extension. His numbers shouldn't be crazy big or crazy amazing, but he did average 13 points, 2.8 rebounds, and two assists while shooting 38% from three, which is above average. And he was the 15th overall pick. So guys like me that watch a lot of guys before they enter the draft knew that he can be an impact player in his role that he had in Gonzaga, and I feel like he would be a guy that can do it in the NBA. And this extension gives him more longevity, showing you that he remains and he is an NBA player, and he deserves to be here because his work ethic and his ability to show that shooting is the main reason why you want him on your roster. But at least he lived up to the hype and was able to be a great NBA shooter. Brandon Boston Jr. also agreed to a two-way deal with the Pelicans to go along with Trey Murphy. Two-way deals basically means you have the ability to be evaluated over and over again. And if they want to cut you, they can cut you. If they don't, they can keep you and offer you a better deal in the future. So in the 32 games that he appeared with the Clippers, he averaged 5 points and one rebound in 10 minutes. That's really decent production for somebody that's coming off the bench and not really a big factor offensively. But Boston also with the San Antonio Spurs during preseason, he averaged 2.8 points and one rebound in 7 minutes in over 4 games. So it makes sense that they go with a guy that they know can contribute even if he's not on the court for a lot of time. And you have to have that next man up mentality. Jonathan Kaminga, unfortunately for the Warriors fans, they won't agree to a extension, basically meaning that it's not going to happen with those two teams, or the team and the player. And that happens sometimes. Bones Highland Clippers also they won't agree to extension by the deadline either, so you don't have to look out for that because that's not really going to happen. Um, and the rest I already covered yesterday. So it's just a fun thing to see that you put so much work in and you deserve the contract that you end up getting, and you get to play for an organization that you ended up having some familiarity with, and you can continue to see some more success possibly with the team that you're already on, and you don't really have to move everything. You don't have to move your stuff out. You don't have to worry about getting traded as of right now. And it's just a beautiful feeling that they believed in you, they drafted you, and now they still want to figure out how to win with you. And I think that's the best part of these ascensions sometimes is knowing that it's mutual, that we want you around. What can we do to get you to stay? And this is our priority, and feeling like that is amazing sometimes. Just knowing that we recruited you, we wanted you, we prioritized you, and we still do. And it's still mutual that we feel that way. And we happy that you do too. Let's get a deal done and let's focus on the future together. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis. And if you're new to the channel, I do breakdowns also, tributes to the legends. I also do conversations just like this. and I have a lot of different type of videos for NBA content only. So you love basketball and NBA especially, this might be the channel for you. And if you already been part of the channel, this is just a reminder that I upload every day, multiple times throughout the day, throughout the weeks, throughout the months, and throughout the years. So you might have missed a video that you wanted to watch, but you didn't watch it for whatever the reason is. Go back and check and see if you missed anything that you wanted to see or that you had on your mind. This is just a good way to tell you, just in case you forgot. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep helping this channel stay popular like you guys have done. And I appreciate it for the most part. And I just like my extension, so I'm feeling good. Now I got to continue to do my part, and I hope you guys continue to watch and enjoy the content. That's y'all part. Be gone.